ready to catch a sparrow. But little did they know Hans took the opportunity to fight back, and with everyone working together, they quickly took down those German soldiers. The next day, Elise and Hans took a train into the city and encountered a German identity check. They really wanted to cozy up and sneak past, but the other side insisted on checking the bags. So Elise gave Hans a smack and pretended. They then exited the carriage carrying 2 boxes of weapons, and while searching, they accidentally spotted an officer in the VIP room who spoke German. Elise naturally opened the door, and the officer turned out to be quite the gentleman, especially in front of Elise. His name was Mons, and he had the quirky hobby of collecting stamps, taking one from each place he conquered. Using this topic, Elise quickly struck up a conversation with Mons. "What's up? You don't want me to bother you? Then go right ahead." "Alright, goodbye. Can I take a look?" In being super careful while admiring the collection. Elise noticed that Mons only had 1 Dutch stamp in his collection. Most of them were blank, and soon the train arrived at the station. Mons wanted to escort Elise home, but was thwarted. At that moment, a tune of catch and release filled the air. But then trouble struck. A weapons truck had just arrived at its destination when a few kids fell flat on the ground. The driver swerved urgently, crashing straight into the warehouse, and the Germans on duty quickly spotted the fallen firearms. They noticed even more weapons in the truck and immediately blew the alarm. The trio inside the truck hurriedly fled, but every direction was blocked by Germans, with no chance to fight back. They were swiftly dealt with. All of them were captured, including Goben's son. In this situation, going out would be like handing over his life. After calming down, Goben stated that for now they wouldn't be directly executed, placing all hopes on Elise. Since he had interacted with the German captain Mons, there was a chance he could sneak in and save them. Everyone present knew the cost. Gonna sleep with him? Sneaky, I know. Is that what you're planning? Where do you think you're going? With Tim and the others, you never really touch Claire. The subtitle says, Claire simply won't apologize. Pyeongchang. It was just like that. Elise didn't think much of it at the moment, and Mons also knew she wouldn't overlook the current situation, but she was now invited to the soiree. So she followed him to a dinner, and after the bald guy finished his speech, the whole crowd burst into song. Subtitles. This was the scene where Ellie saw a German soldier playing the piano who exactly resembled the face that had sunk into her heart like in the water. Elise pretended to be calm, took a sip of wine to steady her nerves, then returned to the hall, singing to all the Germans. Elise had no spy training at all, yet she managed to stay calm in front of this evil fat man. She relied on hatred and fierce will after several drinks. Elise felt the moment had come, and she flirtily made her way over to Mons, smoothly entering the bedroom. Of course, certain implied actions took place behind closed doors, and those visuals were just too beautiful to share the masses. Elise spotted photos of Mons' family, but those were all from the past. They had perished in the war. Elise could deeply relate to that feeling of losing everything, and Mons sensed something in her eyes after this deep interaction. Elise became a part of the inner circle, and her co-workers were shedding a lot of jewelry, which she instantly recognized as loot from Jewish people. They also mentioned that all of this jewelry was in the fat man's safe, and Elise didn't say much, returning to her desk instead. But upon seeing the execution list, Elise froze. The names were all her comrades in the underground organization. It seemed the rescue mission was urgent. As Elise frittered, she met the lawyer who'd given her money, also an underground member. This time, he was there to discuss a ceasefire with Mons and brought along a listening device since Elise had already infiltrated. She was perfect for installing the listening device, and heading to the hall with the device in hand, Elise got to work. While she was setting up and searching for opportunities, Mons and the lawyer had reached an understanding. Mons wasn't as brutal as one might think. His family had also fallen victim to the war, and he loathed killing, so this was a perfect opportunity. Elise quickly dashed into her office, spotted a mural, and hurriedly took it down, ready to install the listening device behind. Elise, these are the words being called. They'll be there in a moment. What on earth are you doing here? I'm in a bad mood. I love you, yet you don't love me back. Seeing that Mons had no suspicions, Elise made an excuse that she needed to go home and return to the organization, where testing showed the device worked perfectly. She could hear everything clearly. During the monitoring process, Elise caught the name Altan, the same guy who helped her escape. Turns out he was a traitor, aiding the Germans in gathering lists of wealthy Jews and then tricking them into fleeing, just like Elise. Had cleaned them out and take off with their money. Elise lured Old Hen with a passion and suggested finding a chance to deal with him. Goben disagreed. She worried that if Old Hen were killed, the Germans would have no one to profit from and might impulsively execute all the captives. Among these captives was Goben's son, and she wasn't willing to take that risk. To her, the Germans were only out to butcher the Jews. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this kind of content, please subscribe to our channel for more hilarious and joyful stories.